This has to stop. I've had enough of people supporting the terrorist state that's called Palestine. They don't deserve to be supported, especially after killing so many innocent people who've done nothing wrong. And yet, the media portrays Israel as the culprit. Why? Because everyone hates Jews for no reason. All they do is find pretexts to justify their hatred toward Israel and their support for the anti-peace swines that are Israel's neighboring nations. It's been happening since the biblical era. When the Jews were living in Egypt, their population had grown exponentially. This caused the Pharaoh to enslave them due to him worrying that the Jews would rebel against the Egyptians. However, the Jews rebelling against the Egyptians was highly unlikely, especially after having been treated well by them. Just imagine for a second that you invited a poor man to stay at your house for one night. You gave him the best food, you offered him to sleep in a very comfortable bed, and your shower satisfies this man who has been searching for the ability to bathe in warm water for a very long time. Then suddenly, the next day, the man burns your house down with a lighter used to light candles. Wouldn't be the most appropriate reaction to hospitality, huh? And yet, this is basically why Pharaoh wanted to get rid of the Jews, because he was worried that they would probably rebel against the Egyptians despite their hospitality. It obviously didn't make sense to think this way, but what did he care? All Pharaoh was doing was finding a means of justifying his enslavement of the Jews and his eventual expulsion of them. And it's the same thing nowadays. The media is saying that Israel is oppressing Palestine through pretexts. There's just a sense of hatred toward Jews that justifies people's perception of them as bad people. It's been happening for a very long time and hasn't stopped. Adolf Hitler created propaganda to encourage the Holocaust. Joseph Stalin imprisoned people who practiced Judaism. And Pharaoh enslaved the Jews just to make sure their population numbers were under control. See the similarity? These three examples of tyrannical radicalists are people who have no real reason to mistreat Jewish people. They just hate them with a baseless kind of hatred just because they're Jewish. And similarly, the media is blaming Israel for the killing, raping, and assault of thousands of people because people just naturally hate Jews even though they've done nothing wrong. And the sheep, that is the people who look at this bullshit media, blindly believe what the media is saying even though it's all complete bullshit. Because for one, people hate Jews baselessly, but for another, people are stupid. People nowadays think that the media is a reliable source of information, and the media in turn takes advantage of that by feeding the population with more lies and more unreliable info. That's how the media makes money off of you. You get brainwashed by the propaganda and the false claims that the media makes, and the media profits from that. So the media will not stop at it and will continue with the lying and brainwashing as long as the Jews are still in exile. We, the Jewish people, will continue to be targeted until the Messiah arrives. And your job is to criticize the media and question its claims. Examine it thoroughly, and don't look at one post about Israel and just say, "Stupid Israel being oppressive again." Instead, look at it and look into the details. Ask yourself where the people have gotten their information from and if that source is reliable or not. If you can find a way to dispel the lies that the media portrays as truth and can find a way to convince others to believe in the truth and not the media, then not only will less people be brainwashed by the media, not only will the media keep making money off of baseless bullshit, but you will also bring the Messiah closer, and with that, peace and only good in the world. May the Messiah come soon. Amen.